right, everybody, welcome back to your favorite show, the Travi Wavi. Here we are again, another Thursday. It must be 10 o'clock on a Thursday morning because we're bringing you the Travi Wavi. Friends, I apologize for last week not bringing you a show. I know some of you were really missing me. I was missing you, but we had some sickness in the house and we just couldn't get it done. But don't worry, I rescheduled that guest and he'll be back on the end of June. Between now and then, I've got a slew of incredible characters from the storybook capital of America right here on stage with me on the Travi Wavi. Today's no exception. I have Eddy Cockerell. Hi, Eddy.
Hi, Travis.
Glad you're here.
Glad to have
If
you
you're
here.
interested in coming down and watching the Travi Wavi, we host these live Thursday mornings around 10 a.m. at the Neon Parrot Live Studios, located next door to Majestic Coffee in beautiful downtown historic Abilene, Texas, in the heart of the 325. We'd love for you to come down and join our live audience. We've got some people today, including Andrew Hill, who will be on the microphone giving us some feedback as we get into this interview, into some of the technicalities of things we're going to talk about. And a couple other quick housekeeping things. Early voting has started. Get out and vote. Let's see if we can get more than 4,000 people in Abilene to vote this time. City council elections are happening and a couple other things. HendrickHealth.org brings you Camp Courage. Again, sign-ups are happening for that right now. And that's all I got for right now. We'll finish up at the end. So Eddy, thanks for being on the show.
Really appreciate you having me.
Man, I'm excited that you're here. Tell me, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have two siblings. I have a younger brother, Chris Cockerell,
Okay,
who works for Big Brothers Big Sisters,
cool.
and his wife, Maury Hayes Cockerell, who is city communications manager.
Cool.
And then my older sister, Carolyn Cox Cockerell, and she's retired, and the one I pick on.
That's good. So you guys stay, I mean, you're all kind of in the area. You stay pretty
we're
close.
all here,
Yep.
yeah. We're very close. The families still gather on every other Sunday. We gather and
Good.
and fried chicken in the works.
I love
and
it.
Hang out with all the littles.
Good.
Yeah,
That's a good time.
yeah.
I think that's some of the best times.
Mhm.
So Eddy, you're an Abilene guy, kinda.
Kinda.
Tell me how you got here.
Via California.
Yeah, tell me how you got to Abilene.
The Cockerells are a four-generation family here in Abilene, and so long time. However, I did not feel very akin to Abilene in my younger days. So
Wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. I couldn't wait to get out.
Yeah.
So I left pursuing the rock and roll industry in the late '80s to
Right on.
Hollywood,
Right on.
California.
How'd you get into that?
Honestly, it was a Ted Nugent concert in 1978 right out there at the Coliseum.
Love it.
And I was 10,
Okay.
and he comes swinging out on a rope in a loincloth, and the girls started screaming, and I said, I'm going to do that.
That's inspiration for you.
So I began pretty early in the rock and roll scene, and by 14 I was in a local garage band. And,
Right on.
And then just said, well, if I'm going to make it, I got to go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Either there or New York. And
So you were, what, 18 when you went out there?
17.
17.
Yeah.
And you left Abilene, West Texas,
I was straight to Hollywood.
for the big old city.
Mhm.
And how was that experience for you out there? Any highlights, any stories you want to share?
It was wild, beyond measure. That was during the time of glam rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then being there at the time when the Seattle scene,
Oh, yeah.
when the first time I saw Soundgarden at the Troubadour and Chris Cornell, I was like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy
Yeah.
is something else. This is Robert Plant guy.
Yep.
You know. But to be in Hollywood at the time when it was very party-ish,
Mm-hmm.
certain chemicals were
Mm-hmm.
on this side, but what Seattle brought down was actually the heroin.
Mm.
And to be in the middle of the Sunset Strip, which was just an every night party.
Yeah.
I was actually at the Whiskey A Go Go the night that River Phoenix OD'd over at the Viper Room, and it really was an indication of what was coming in a new phase of music,
Yeah.
which was way better.
Yeah.
It was just soulful and heartfelt, and I mean, it was real music. We were just playing party rock, you know. But it changed the scene overnight. I mean, the Sunset Strip went dark. People were really having a hard time with the heroin. And so, but being there at that time was, oh, I would never trade it for the world. It was a time that has never been since.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but to be through that phases of the Guns N' Roses and then into, I mean, we used to practice next to LA Guns, and so it was a lot of parties and a lot of people I met and hung out with. So it
That's
was
cool.
an experience I'll never forget. Barely got out alive. Ended up becoming a drug counselor because of that journey.
It's interesting how the wind pushes us sometimes, doesn't it?
It was
things come full circle sometimes.
definitely wasn't on the bingo card, but it was what happened.
Yeah.
And so for the last 36 years, I've been actively involved in recovery. As a matter of fact, before moving back in 20, I was a recovery coach in Hollywood for a number of high-level clients and gaining quite a consulting business there for helping out.
I'm a huge fan of recovery and the 12 steps and the principles. Even today, I may not practice all of them to 100%, but it's always been a really great, it's been a lifeline, I think, for me and for a lot of people throughout the years.
For sure.
Yeah. So Hollywood, back to West Texas. You came back in 19 or 20?
It was in 2019. My dad, Edward Earl Cockerell III, I'm the fourth. He passed. Had a widowmaker overnight. I knew at that point I better get back here. We have the Cockerell building downtown. I had remodeled in 2004, 2005 for Artist Studios. That needed management. Cockerell Oil Properties, our property management company, and a fourth generation collection agency, needed management. Brother and sister asked if I could come back. My two wild Indian grown kids were already out of the house and on their own, so it was time for me to come back and help.
And you've been back now for 6 years or so. Has it been a good choice to come back?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, good. You don't miss California that much?
I go back once, twice a year as it stands, but as the state began to get pretty squirrely, it was kind of a good time, actually.
Yeah, good time to come
back. It's been actually, my dad always called me the prodigal son, so it fell in line.
Good.
You know, so, and it was nice to get back and just breathe the air again and just relax.
Good. We were talking before the show. I think I did meet you back when you were remodeling the Cockerell building. Had a friend who was an artist upstairs and got a little tour from you back in the day, so that was fun. So one of the things we're going to talk about today and spend most of the time talking about is this company that you started, Texas Star Hemp. What was the onus for that? How did you get involved in the hemp industry?
Interesting story. My brother, as I was transitioning out of the home there to come back, shutting things down there, my brother sent me a text and said, hey, the state of Texas is going to go legal for growing hemp. And at the time, working in treatment centers out there and working with a lot of watching that system.
Yeah.
And that system was the same makers of OxyContin making the same detox meds. So they were getting them on the front end and the back end.
Yep.
And I had done some research on CBD and cannabinoids as a treatment protocol, a viable treatment protocol for opioid detox.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sparked something in me when he sent that, and I thought, well, you know, we've got a lot of land. There's a lot of land in my sphere of influence. This is something that it just started to germinate, and I realized, well, there's a real opportunity here to get in on that level, and as well, you know, thinking on the industrial side, you know, that we as a nation and a world need to have better products.
Yeah.
And hemp is such a viable solution for that. And so it really just started to roll around in my head as I was sitting out there in California, and overnight the name came to me, Texas Star Hemp Farms, and a logo instantly came to mind, and I just said, let's run with it.
Nice.
Let's run with
Yeah.
it.
Sometimes you just got to take a swing at the ball. Yeah, that's good. You were mentioning thinking about CBD as a treatment or a more natural treatment process for coming off of harder drugs. This is a little bit off subject, but do you have any? Have you heard about the ibogaine?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have anything you could share with our audience about that?
Because I don't have a lot of experience other than research on alternative treatments for opioid withdrawal and recovery. And since starting Texas Star Hemp Farms, many have come, including ibogaine, have come into. What I had wished to see is that CBD would have become a formal treatment protocol. But just like with many of the plant medicines and treatments that are being now more controlled in controlled environments, it had to be alternative.
Yeah.
You know, and really private, not as mainstream. So I'm excited to see government, in some sense of the word, getting involved and helping bring that to reality. I knew coming back to Abilene, starting a hemp company would have a pretty large learning curve.
Sure.
As people, many who even my mom, who was someone that I wanted to apply some of the medicinal values to as she was grieving the loss of her husband and having some health issues. I knew that there would be a time for people to come to that. Cannabis, they think right away, is marijuana.
Yep.
You know.
And maybe we should clarify that for our listeners that are not familiar.
Yeah.
So there's a plant that grows all over the world, and just for free and fun because it wants to. And from that plant, we can derive a lot of different products. We can take the seeds and create oils. The fibers from the tissue of the plant are great for textiles. And this has been something that we've done as humanity for the entire time that we've been able to cultivate this plant and recognized its properties. Somewhere along the way, it got a bad name, marijuana, and the government put agricultural tax stamps on it so no one could grow it anymore. It became illegal. And my entire life, I was born in the late 70s, but my entire life it has been an illegal substance, and then we'll put you in jail if you're caught with having that. And then sometime in the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, between California, Colorado, and other states bringing this up to the national attention level, talking about this, and we've got Andrew Hill in the audience. Chime in at any point, Andrew, especially if I'm misinterpreting. But there's been this move politically and in the public sphere to kind of redesignate this substance, this drug, in different ways. And that's kind of where, when you come in with Texas hemp products, you're talking about using the plant and parts of the plant to create other consumable products that don't have intoxicating flavor on it, for lack of a better term.
Sure.
Is that pretty accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, there's a reason why they call it weed.
Yeah.
It was a weed. It grew like a weed, you know, and many people don't realize that the peace pipes that the Native American Indians used they were using hemp. Marijuana began to be played with, or the plant cannabis, as I always describe it this way. Andrew may not, but I describe it like the pit bull and the poodle. We've got cannabis, and then we have hemp, and we have marijuana. One is highly intoxicating, and the other is low to nil intoxication, and they both have value medicinally. And when used medicinally, very powerful, very powerful. So my experience through recovery and working in recovery and treatment for as many years as I had, I wanted to come in on that level. I wanted to use the hemp plant and the cannabinoids from that side of the cannabis family to begin to treat people. And so I found Andrew, which has a neat story to it, who's an incredible formulator and an incredible geneticist with genetics in plant and seeds, to help devise wellness products, CBD specifically products with no intoxicating components, so that people in recovery would have access to medicine, and specifically first responders as well. EMS, you know, and law enforcement go through an immense amount of PTSD.
Yeah, lots of stress, lots of trauma.
Lots of stress and anxiety. And yet, if they take a full spectrum product, they will test positive. They'll show traces of THC. So I wanted to make products that would not be in that vein, where they would be accessible. I mean, I currently have many of the voluntary fire departments and police officers who use our THC-free products.
Good.
So.
I think it's interesting. I mean, there's so much technical information around this entire subject that we're probably not going to be able to clarify for our audience all of the terms and the things that we're talking about. But when you say cannabinoid, it brings to my mind that we're built with these endocannabinoid receptors all throughout our body. And what a neat kind of miracle that is, that this plant and our systems have a puzzle piece that matches. And I've always thought that was interesting, especially since here in Texas, right now today, there's an injunction on this entire industry that you guys are unable to move forward. You've had to put a pause on your business as the big alcohol lobbyists continue to push Dan Patrick and some of our other politicians in this state to try to make these safe and helpful products scary. And help me with this, because you kind of hear where I'm trying to go with this.
Oh yeah, this has been one of the things I did know with Texas. President Trump, in his first administration, or his first run, had put into the 2018 Farm Bill the ability to allow farmers to grow hemp again, which was exciting, because at the time, if you recall, there were quite a few Chinese influenced or straight Chinese land grabs, and he was trying to shut down through tariffs that to give back to American farmers a crop that could be a bumper crop or a in between crop that couldn't be controlled by Monsanto. Monsanto controls
seed,
chemical,
fertilizer,
the resale of it, the whole thing. And this would really give farmers an opportunity to supplant or to supplement income.
Well, I might be getting into the weeds here a little bit, but this is just bringing up things in my mind. Being from South Dakota, corn, right, everywhere.
Yeah.
And back sometime in my lifetime, the industry decided, what if we could make fuel out of all this corn? And they came up with ethanol. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it takes a lot of fuel to grow a crop of corn, and it takes a lot of energy to turn that corn into fuel again. And it just has always, people have made a ton of money in this, but it bothers me in the sense that this just seems like a complete disconnect. And we've allowed technology and industry to run away with the cow,
Yes.
so to speak. And when it comes to hemp can also be made into fuel. I mean, hemp.
This was a boon, it being reinserted or reintroduced into our agricultural system. So it was exciting. Here was some opportunities. What I did know, or I could at least have some insight or foresight to, was that it wasn't going to be an easy road. And it sure wasn't, especially with our state. Again, the state and even locally, there was this learning curve of understanding what hemp was being re-talked about, because this was something clearly that had been around for
millennia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So, and Andrews,
can I
pop,
bring up a couple?
yeah,
fun
bring
facts
up
about
some
hemp and the
great
history
points.
of this country? So until I think it was
The mic.
18.
Yeah, you're good.
Until I think 1887, if you were a farmer in this country and you weren't growing cannabis, you were thrown in jail. Right? A lot of people know our Bill of Rights is written on hemp paper. Okay. And the argument these days amongst all the politicians is, oh, well, y'all are growing it and using it differently. If you really want to tell me that a farmer that was legally obligated to grow cannabis back in the day didn't have a couple plants off the side and smoke that shit, you're delusional.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yep.
this country was literally founded on cannabis. And not hemp, not marijuana, cannabis. It is the same plant. It just produces different drugs.
Yes.
Yep.
So we're sitting infighting these days about, oh, well, marijuana, or oh, well, hemp. No, it's cannabis sativa linnaeus, and that's what it is. And it founded this country. It was one of the reasons that we actually won World War I and World War II. Right? And you can go look up all of this in public records, in U.S. government offices. It's all there. Right?
Yeah. And so again, I'm just trying to like host this interview in a way that like I don't know anything about this plant, but I might know a thing or two about it. So the plant is interesting, and a lot of plants do this, but it has male tendencies and female tendencies. Basically, it'll show itself as being a male plant or a female plant when it's being grown. And the male plant overall is what we're going to be using for textile products or medicinal products or consumable products that don't have the THC on the flower. The female plants make the flowers, and the flowers are what are dried and then can be smoked. So if you're listening and you've gone to Colorado and you've walked into one of those retail shops and bought something to take home and smoke, like a joint or something, you probably bought it was a flower from a female plant. And if you bought maybe some chapstick there, or I don't know, a CBD gummy to help you sleep, it's very possible that could have been from a male plant. Correct me, Andrew, if I'm off.
You're right and wrong.
Okay, good.
If I put it simply. So when everybody talks about the 2018 Agricultural Improvement Act, and that's the legalization of hemp, believe it or not, it actually happened in 2014. States were legally allowed to open up research programs into hemp, specifically for economy, agriculture, so on and so forth, right? Yes, cannabis is a male-female plant. They do express both. However, a lot of people do have the misconception that, like, oh, the male plant is what produces fiber. No, it's any plant. It's any cannabis plant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a THC producing plant or it's a CBD producing plant. It's the planting density that makes the difference, right? I have gotten the opportunity to do research on this, not large scale, But in New Mexico, we took an acre and we planted high THC seed that was known to produce high THC. We took it from our medical dispensary. And we planted a whole acre, 30,000 seed an acre. And it grew like fiber. And then we took a variety out of Europe that was supposed to be specific fiber variety, and we planted it on a 3x3 center, which is standard horticultural center for cannabis. And guess what? It grew like the flower plants that so many people are familiar with. Right? So I think with a lot of what's going on right now, there's a lot of misinformation on that type of stuff. And there aren't very many people that actually represent the industry that have sat down and done this type of research, that have sat down and tested these things. Because so many agricultural producers bought into it and went, oh, we finally have a real cash crop again. And just kind of believed whatever came out of people's mouths. Right? And the fact of the matter is, fiber, whether it's fiber cannabis or it's drug type cannabis, it's still cannabis. It just depends on the planting density. If you're going to get more of these tall, lanky plants that are going to be good for rope production and fuel production and clothing production and paper production and food production, or if you're going to get the drug production out of it, which is your CBDs, your THCs, your cannabinoids.
And
Right.
I think that's the big, as it's been reintroduced on a more public scale. Like Andrew said, we did have research capability opened up for hemp in 2014 Farm Bill. But the 2018 Farm Bill, I think maybe part of it was also Trump's brand that helped explode it, the kind of bringing it back into the forefront. Now we've only had 6-7 years of really reintroducing the plant and its capabilities, and with our current regulations being a tell for those who capitalize on markets. It's a wild, wild west show as we're trying to work out how to effectively bring this plant back into and effectively use it for what it should be used. Especially, just for the audience to simplify it, when your industrial side is going to be, as we would use that as a title, for your products such as fuel, biofuel, bioplastics, clothing, paper, which, I mean, growing hemp and scale would stop deforestation. You know, we could grow 2 to 3 crops a year.
I've seen hemp products used like hemp bale homes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've seen this product being used from everything from shoes to
So we've got a time frame here where we're going to have to walk through the mud, walk through people who are trying to control markets, especially on the intoxication side of things, which is one of the reasons why Dan Patrick and Senator Perry were so adamant that they didn't want Texas to have the devil's lettuce being grown. It's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And if we don't stay in it, continuing to educate, produce quality products. That was one of the reasons why I started Texas Star. Was I don't do THC. I don't do intoxicating parts of the plant, and I knew that others didn't want to either. And there's a whole industry, clearly, of being able to develop products that would fit that market and that niche of people. So it was a real impetus for me to begin to create products that would help with the education of the older generation, the silent generation, that were super scared of cannabis or marijuana. I mean, my mom would have never smoked a joint if you'd have paid her to. And yet I've got her taking dropperfuls of CBD and causing her essential tremors to virtually go away.
Yeah. I remember going back to early, just the earlier parts of this conversation on the public scale, and I don't know, this might have been in the 90s or something, when California was starting to push on Prop A and legalization, and then Colorado followed. But there was so many heartfelt stories of like young children that had epileptic seizures or things of this nature. It was always like that was kind of the public image. Here's a child that is struggling with some sort of disorder, neurological problem, and we can give it a tincture of some CBD, and then look at this. And it always just seemed to me like, well, hello everybody, right? Like, what do you want? This is like, there's no real side effects. This is super safe. What's the problem?
Yeah.
And yet here we are, 30 years later, and we're still having this struggle here in Texas, which we're like one of the largest GPD producing states. I mean, we're huge. We're the same size as Iran or Saudi Arabia, and yet we're having a political struggle with our leadership, who's been in office for way too long, where they want to continue to get money from their alcohol lobbying group friends. I have a bone to pick with Greg Abbott ever since COVID, because I was working at Pappy Slocum Brewery, and one of the reasons a lot of our small breweries had to shut down was because of the same issue.
Yeah.
The same issue. And so our leadership is more willing to sell us alcohol, which we know causes lots of problems, lots and lots of issues for lots of people. We're more willing to do that than we are to offer something that's safer and more natural, and it bothers me as a citizen. That's why we're doing this show today.
Exactly. It did for me as well. Yeah. And for someone who is so highly affected by illicit drugs, to be as passionate and understanding, and all it is education.
Yeah.
I'm very clear on the immense benefit that cannabis as a plant, as a medicinal plant, has for society, and so I would say anything could be a gateway drug, and specifically the biggest one is alcohol. So we want to get into that term or play on words. Is basic to me horseshit.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And it's time to, I mean, the case studies after case studies of cancer treatment, of epilepsy, it is extensive.
Vision.
It's glaucoma.
Thank
yes,
you.
it's unprecedented.
Tummy issues. Yeah, I mean, it just goes. The list is so long and deep, and yet here we are, having a podcast to bring up this issue to help educate our audience about the fact that this plant really isn't the devil's lettuce.
No,
it's the Lord's lettuce. And how can we as a populace, how can we as citizens in Texas, let our voices be heard in support of bringing real legalization to, not just to Texas, but I think to our country, is what we need to do ultimately.
Yes. One of Andrew and I's dreams in the beginning, and it was to, and it's still on the board, is to create a hemp and cannabis education center here in Abilene.
Cool.
Engaging universities, and it's still viable. As we stay in, even though we're kind of cut off at our knees at the moment, we still have quite a bit of plans on that level of things. We're gonna stay in it. You know.
Well,
and
can
Andrew,
I add to that too? So I've worked federal lobbying. I've worked state lobbying too. I do know a lot of the big players here in Texas. And when it comes down to it, a lot of the public representatives that we're picking to go represent this industry in front of the House and in front of the Senate of Texas are not the appropriate people to do it. And I say this as somebody that has worked in the legal industry since 2008. I say this as somebody that has to correct people constantly. that somebody that has done the research, somebody that knows people from University of Mississippi that have run the almost now 60 years worth of federally funded research. And I will not go sit down and present the knowledge that I have just because of my appearance. And this is something that I think the industry throughout the entire country struggles with, is they send in people that look the clean-cut stoner stereotype to represent the industry. They're not sending in doctors. Send in actual researchers, because if we don't, every politician, whether you're in a recreationally legal state or you're in a state like Texas, does not matter. Every single politician is going to go, oh, we need more research. Oh, we need more research. And once you prove that you don't need more research, they pivot to, oh, well, it's to protect the children. And this is the problem, because people aren't going in and actually able to sit down and talk about the biochemistry of the plant, let alone the pathology and the biochemistry of the plant within ourselves, right? Like, I can say endogenous cannabinoid to a lot of these people that go sit down at Capitol Hill here in Texas, and they can't name one endogenous cannabinoid to me. But they know what that term is. They know the buzzwords, but they don't know anything beyond that buzzword or anything beyond that surface level. And you can go watch some of these Senate hearings and see it. Them sitting down talking about THCA and how CBD isn't psychoactive. Guess what? CBD is not psychoactive, but it is psychotropic. And the mass majority of the people in the cannabis industry and in the psilocybin industry in Colorado, they don't know the definition of psychotropic, which is it's psychoactive for certain portions of the population, right? So it, like Eddie said, it's these education things that are, you know, they need to be talked about, but the industry just sweeps it under the rug because their marketing scheme is working and their profits are so good that they don't care.
And to dovetail on that side of the marketing things, you know, with those of us who joined the hemp industry and really became engaged in it in Texas, growing, creating products, we've held ourselves to a high standard of transparency. We know many of our fellows who engaged in this industry, and we had always really looked. They should have put a 21 and older as it stood from the get-go. This would have curbed a lot of the issues. Some of the issues that Dan, Patrick, and Perry were having were the colorful packaging and marketing to entice kids. Interestingly enough, these latest injunctions don't even address that.
However,
so we've got, go ahead, Andrew.
They do address the certificate of analysis problem.
Right.
Which, if there is one underlying beauty of the new dishes rules and what was Senate Bill 3 and what was Senate Bill 5, is that they are now mandating that your certificate of analysis for your product be within 3 clicks of that product, which is huge. Will actually clean up a lot of the shady actors, in my opinion.
That was the issue. What I was going to point out was, when you open up something like this, you're going to have bad actors that engage in this. And there was a loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill that allowed for the development of products that give you a high intoxication through the hemp plant. And again, as many of us who in the state really came on board to want to propagate this plant again into the public in a positive way, have had a battle. You know, we've been torn a bit. No, we don't want to produce products that are going to go into 7-Eleven that anybody, any age could get. That was not the intention of this industry. And there were many that needed to make money as well. So it's been a real journey. Without a doubt, it's been a wild, wild west show and a roller coaster
and
ride.
before we started the program today, I had read the some of these state licensing and regulation fees that had been a number in the past have now like 10x or 100x. So just the barriers to entry even into the industry now, it feels like there's a paywall that's just been erected.
Oh, that's exactly it. In my own estimation, my own opinion, large multi-state operators, which we call MSOs, are in controlling the medical marijuana industry, and that is an industry. Hemp came along with a better intoxicating or medicinal side of the psychoactive side of things that many veterans were getting a hold of, having incredible results with. Basically what happened is hemp came in and started to cut into the controlling side of the medical marijuana industry. And so we have a lot of lobbying and money to, interestingly enough, have a fight over two sides of the cannabis plant.
Yep. Just to make sure that a smaller group of people can have the most amount of profits at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's pretty disgusting to me.
It's kind of the same old story and the same old fight.
Yeah.
And that's where.
And it really has nothing to do with the plant or its intoxication or its lack of intoxication or its healing.
Numbers.
Just about, at the end of the day, who gets to take home the biggest piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate. But I mean, it's not just in hemp. I mean, we like I mentioned, in ethanol, it's everywhere. It's in healthcare. It's in real estate. It's in on and on and on. One of the problems of our society, as we said.
Yes, it is.
Yep. So today, April 23rd, we were going to hear from the judge that had put this injunction on, and that has been moved to April 28th, 9th, and 30th. So instead of a one-day hearing, they're going to have 3 days to explore that, and we can be hopeful. We can be hopeful that it turns around and you guys are able to unpause your business and get back after it.
Yep.
If that's the case, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Have a party.
Good. Yeah, celebrate.
Well, we'll go back into business. We had a lot of retailers who were very sad that we weren't, we were going to be in this position, but they had many other suppliers of products for their stores that were going to be coupled into that injunction. So I will obviously contact them and get them back product.
Good.
We have, our best seller was our infamous pain balm.
Pain balm. Okay.
That I've never had anyone ever who has tried our product say anything but this is better than anything that's on the market. Better than Icy Hot or Blue Stuff.
Blue Stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, this stuff works.
Good.
It really, really does. And it's our top seller, and many of our retailers were very upset to hear that we were going to have to pause.
Well, hopefully we can unpause soon.
Yep.
Where are y'all growing, if you can share that, and where is the manufacturing? Where's your industry located?
Okay, I cannot tell you.
You don't. That's okay. I figured there's
where the grow field is.
I'd find a secret somewhere in here, Eddie.
But in the Cockerell building downtown is what we call HQ.
Okay.
We do manufacture. Is where we manufacture our 3 wellness products, 2 wellness tinctures, one is a specific sleep tincture, the other a wellness blend, a comprehensive wellness blend, and then our pain balm. So we manufacture that downtown.
And again, so I just want to, because you mentioned this earlier with like public police officers and firefighters and such, but these products you can take and you won't test positive for weed.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and you could just get the benefits from them.
Correct.
And you won't get high.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 And that was my full intention, and we, with the help of Andrew and Jonathan Sharp and others, we created some formulas that are just amazing.
Good.
And it was one of the reasons, again, back to my, I don't do THC products or intoxicating products. I didn't know what I was buying off the shelf. I wanted the benefits of CBD, and this is an example of what many consumers are like. They don't want THC in their product. And so I had to learn what goes in them and know how to help create products that are THC free, actually.
Yeah.
And so I just created my own.
That's great.
I actually pushed my guys to
Yeah.
the level of having to.
You built a great team.
I did. Yeah.
So and then if it goes the opposite way, is if this injunction holds and all of a sudden in Texas we have to stop some of these manufacturing processes and growing and such, where do you take the fight to next?
We're not out of the fight. If that occurs, we have some aces in the hole.
Great.
on status
Okay.
of there is definitely some indigenous filings that we could do to become capable of continuing on providing this. That is something that we're in the process of investigating and having in the eaves. So we may still be able to stay in the game.
Okay.
But what we're really watching right now is how the state legislators and our Texas Hemp Coalition is fighting this, and we're going to see where it lands.
Good. What are some other pieces of this puzzle that you want our audience to be aware of or become educated about?
Andrew, do you have something? I mean, I think you have such an insight on where we could go with this. Give us a quick answer to that question.
Yeah.
The simple answer is stop debating if it's marijuana or hemp and just call it what it actually is.
Cannabis.
Literally, stop falling for all these, pardon my French, but bullshit manipulative marketing tactics. Like, you got to keep it. Every company is trying to sell you something. Doesn't matter if it's us. Doesn't matter if it's Chevron or some Fortune 500 company. Every company trying to sell you something. See through the marketing. They say this isn't psychoactive. Go look into the definition of psychotropic and figure out if you suffer from anxiety and CBD helps with your anxiety, guess what? It's psychoactive for you. But you say that at a big cannabis conference and you become Satan all of a sudden. Right? And like that whole point is the same as, I go back to NOCO. When I got booed off stage for saying that there was already $1 billion hemp industry in this country. Well, 90-something% of people in the industry probably don't even know about that. And it's food. It's hemp seed. Right? So go educate yourself on what cannabis is. Go educate yourself on the history of this plant. Not just in this country, but throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
There are cultures on this planet that never had to follow prohibition. There are zones in Thailand that never had to follow prohibition because it was of historical relevance to their society.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, fun fact, California and Colorado weren't the first state to legalize. It was Arizona.
Interesting.
And Arizona was also one of the only states until I think about 6 or 7 years ago that passed cannabis legislation. It wasn't done by public vote. Colorado, California, Washington, Oregon, all done by public vote, not legislature.
Thank
Right?
you.
Canada wasn't the first country to fully legalize and decriminalize either. Go look into that and come back and tell me who the first one was. Because you're going to be dumbfounded by it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. I mean, it's like this historically messy conversation about a plant, a plant, and it's almost like watching a bad movie this whole time. It's like, what the end game is. Like, the plant's good. What's the problem, officer? But that's the problem, right? Is that we've demonized something for political gain or for monetary gain.
Yep. Yep.
And in the meantime, lots of us are left hanging out, or dealing with charges.
The fallout.
Yeah, the fallout of it, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the saddest thing about the industry right now, actually, is California has been legal since, what, 97, if I'm remembering correctly? Right? Like, our first medical marijuana programs in this country were 97, 98, if I'm remembering the dates correctly. We're almost, 30 years later at this point? And we have people that were locked up between then and now serving life in prison for this plant in a state that it's now legal in.
Yep. Yep.
That is the largest injustice of this entire industry, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's as I say, it's a wild, wild west show.
It is. It's a wild, wild west show indeed. Well, with the little bit of time we have left, what else do we want to bring up and share? Any last thoughts of the show?
Man, we've covered so much.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
That's okay, Eddie. If people want to get in touch with you, they can email you?
Yes, there's we actually have, as our website currently is in off mode, there is still contact information on the site.
Okay, so if people want to ask you a
Sure,
question or
sure.
partner with you as
Yeah.
far as like, bring in some more heavy-hitting attorneys.
And we have a Facebook page, Texas Star Hemp Farms.
Okay,
And so we're accessible.
okay, good,
We're accessible.
good. And you and Andrew are going to continue to do the good work, and
We're going to keep up the good fight.
I like that. And we're going to support you in our own little ways, and hopefully you guys get back online in the near future.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you for being on the show today,
Thank
my
you for
friends.
having us.
It's been really good. Thank you to my producers, Sam Wolf and Tim Prosser from InFocus Digital. Couldn't do the show without you guys. Andrew, thanks for being here today and sharing your wisdom and knowledge. Eddie, great to catch up and get to know you a little bit better today, and we'll stay in touch. If you guys want to come watch the Travi Wavi, Thursday mornings right here at the Neon Parrot Live Studios, 10 a.m. It's free to come watch, and there's delicious coffee next door at Majestic Coffee Shop, allegedly serving onyx. The Calf Festival is coming up in June, and that is something that you don't want to miss, especially if you have younger children or grandchildren. I know my daughter and I got some tickets for the grandkids, and we're going to be doing the costume contest, so come on out. It's 100 years of poo, and downtown Abilene is just going to be covered in poo this year. Been looking forward to seeing that for like 2 weeks. Let's see. What else do I got? Camp Courage. Sign-ups for Camp Courage, hendrickhealth.org. That's a really wonderful program for your children. You can get on there and find out some more information about that. And I think that's pretty much all I have for today. I'm going to be bringing you another amazing guest next week. Arlene Castleman from 7 and 1 Books will be on. That'll be a great podcast, and I appreciate you guys watching. The Travi Wavi, where every week I bring you another character from the storybook capital of America, right here in Abilene, Texas. And this week was no exception. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Sam and Tim. We'll sign off and see you guys next week.